Good morning. It's garden tour Saturday. Well, the magic of YouTube makes it Saturday today, hosted by Grandma Sandy. There are so many wonderful channels that also participate in this collaboration. I'll post them on the screen. Go check them out. Special mention for Suffolk Susie and Patricia N. Cube. And let's get right into the tour. Today's focus is the vegetable garden. There's been so much failure in this year's vegetable garden. I haven't really felt like showing too much of my vegetable garden, but we're going to take a look at some of the successes. I would almost call the whole garden a failure, but we're thinking positive and we're not going down that road. Let's see what's growing in the garden right now. Starting right beside me, these are some of my container tomatoes, and finally we're halfway through July and the tomatoes are just starting to form. So exciting and so late in the season. They have never been so late. Coming this way, there is another container tomato with the little baby tomatoes just forming. Same with the one here. We've got 3 in a row with the tomatoes that are just getting started. Coming around this side, this was a bell pepper planted pretty late. It's doing really well, but there's no flowers yet, so we'll see what the season brings. Also, lots of weeds in here. Should probably pull some of these weeds out as we go. I have definitely been falling behind on my weeding practices. Coming over here, I actually almost pulled this tomato out yesterday. I came home from work and did some yard work and noticed that this was really drooping. I did give it a lot of water, but I wasn't optimistic it was going to survive, and it did. So that is nice. But we definitely have a lot of weeds to pull out of this container. It is just full of weeds here and all different varieties. I guess that's what you get for using yard waste for mulch. Sometimes the weeds will join in the party. Coming this way, we have another bell pepper that is overrun with weeds. I guess I should have called this the weeding. I should have called this tour Weed With Me, Show and Tell, or something like that. Here is another bell pepper doing well, but no flowers yet. It's still too soon. It was planted pretty late in the season. This was from that plant sale I went to in the neighborhood. Doing fine, just not doing that much. Over here we have another tomato plant with a few weeds, and I don't think it has any. Doesn't look like it's got any tomatoes and flowers yet, but it's growing well. And more weeds growing with it. So we have a little bit of tidying up to do. Taking off a few of these less attractive looking leaves as we go. And another tomato plant. Once again, there are no tomatoes on this one yet. It's getting pretty late in the season, so that's not optimistic that there's nothing growing on it yet, but hopefully soon there will be some flowers. It looks like they might be starting to form at the top. Here are my beans growing in a container. I have pretty much never, other than inside my house, grown container beans. All of my in-ground beans this year were 100% a failure. My beans failed for the first time in 10 years. I've tried to grow them every year and they are usually hugely successful until this season. So it's not a year for beans. Here are my container grown cucumbers. These were milk jug cucumbers. Most I'd say 99% of my milk jug grown cucumbers passed away. It's been a really rough season on them, but this is what remains. There's 1 or 2 cucumber plants in here and a bunch of kale that has sprouted, and they're finally doing well. There's remnants of that powdery mildew, but they do have a lot of healthy leaves. So this is definitely a success, but one of the few successes in the garden this year. Over here, tomatoes with some lettuce that I really should pick. And this cucumber was from that plant sale in the neighborhood, and it is actually thriving. It actually has flowers, so there's hope. There will be some cucumber plants into the garden. This cucumber, also a store-bought one, has some flowers, but no cucumbers yet. So maybe they'll still come. Going into the garden now, there are lots of tomatoes here, there, and everywhere. Marigolds are starting to bloom a little more now. And we'll look at some of the bigger tomato plants. The first one with a real tomato. So exciting. This was one I started in my house in the winter. Coming this way, we have some much bigger tomato plants, but no actual tomatoes on them yet. There's one over there and a bunch over here. At the back, you can see some corn gone crazy, and the sunflowers are about to bloom. The garlic I have started harvesting, and I've been so far behind in my gardening this season. I only just started harvesting scapes yesterday, so I might not even do a regular scape harvest. I'm not sure. I did pull a few bulbs out too. We'll see how it goes. And the only sunflower that is blooming right here, leaned over, and I can't seem to prop it up, but it is pretty. What you may have just seen was a very camera shy hummingbird. It just tried to make a little cameo in my video. It's so cool. Thank you for tuning in to Garden Tour Saturday, and we will see you soon. I hope you have a lovely day, evening, or night wherever you are. Bye-bye.